Today we're going to try to kit bash this little guy. I didn't know how to do the lava, so I just kind of started with some white and yellow. Just kind of sorting it out as I go. Then I remember a technique. If you blend with wet paints, you can kind of get this bleed effect. So I decided I'd just start slathering on paint, see if I can get that effect. So as the red was wet, we just started blobbing in yellows. At this point, I decided I needed to start chopping up the miniature, figure out how I could make him become melted. So I cut his feet off. He was a little lighter and melted him. I pulled out my giant chunk of aluminum so I wouldn't mess my mat up. Melted him and just smushed him down. Try to get that effect of melting. Do a little pre-mock-up look, see, and it looks not too bad. Okay. He's a little melted now. And we need to glue the head on. I went with a derpy looking face. I think that one's pretty funny for him falling into lava. Then I found this hand cannon from another little goblin guy. Glued him on. Then I started adding in this crackle molten black. I've never used it before. Adding in little bits and pieces of maybe cooled lava. Just trying to get an effect. I glued him on a little sprue to make it easier to hold him. Looking pretty good so far. Then I figured I'd go ahead and drill the barrels out. They're pretty big little hand cannons. So we went ahead and knocked that out. Toughest part is trying to get them centered. You can go slow. Make sure it's centered as you go. And there's the effect. And our base is still drying. It's slowly starting to crackle. I went outside and primed them real quick. Figured I'd start doing base coating. We just mixed a little green and blue together. It's one of my least favorite parts of miniatures is the base coating. It's pretty boring, but you gotta kind of do it. Always start darker. Then we start doing the silver. I figured I'd go with silver for the guns and helmet. Just start putting the base coat on. You don't have to be neat or clean or anything. If you mess up, you can always go back in and touch it back up. Kind of like the helmet on him. Looks pretty good, like a biker helmet almost. So we got the base coat done. That's how it ended up looking. I change gears up and I go ahead and try to make little wispy flames or lava splash. Now, I've done this on this salamander flamethrower, and just take cotton and kind of twist it up and add super glue. And then take just a crappy brush and start to kind of play around with the effect. Then eventually you'll have something that looks kind of like a flame. And we go back into the little guy and we start to add our first highlights. You went with just another darker green. Just go in and try to pick out the muscles. Pick out the pecs, pick out every little spot on them. You always want to leave a little bit of the dark though. Don't go too crazy on this. Just almost covering everything but the recesses. I wanted the hand cannons to be blinged out, so I wanted to add some gold. Just picking out little bits of gold. I go grab a wash. I think it was the aggregate wash. Just adding that to the white horns. And give it that little bit of effect of a horn. Then I went ahead and grabbed an old school car model paint that's like a chrome. I wanted in the light to give this chrome pop for extra bling. So we just hit a few spots to give it that effect. I blended it a little bit, not too much though. And there's how we're looking so far. One highlight, one base coat. Then I went with a little bit lighter green. And then we start doing more highlighting. Making sure to leave our dark spots. Don't go too much. I really like how the spine turned out on this guy. Kind of cool to pick that little part of the miniature up. I thought at the base of the melt spot I could make it look like melted skin. But ultimately I think I decided to just paint it more like lava. Going in and picking up his little fat belly. He's got a little goblin gut on him. These guys always got really big noses. A lot of the highlight goes on the tip of the nose. Making sure to leave some of the little recesses on the nose. Give it that depth. A couple little spots on the neck and chin. Another thing I forgot to do was add little highlights for the nails. I never ended up doing that in the whole model. Kind of forgot all about it. This little guy's measuring in at about 1 inch from base to tip of gun. So he's pretty small. Without the gun and base, I think he comes in at about a 1/2 inch big. I could almost paint the whole model on my thumbnail. It's Probably one of my smallest minis I've tried so far. Definitely considering I cut them in half. Then we go and mix a little bit of green and yellow together for that next layer of highlights. This will be our fourth layer of highlight. Make sure you hit a little less than the areas that were covered before. Make sure not to cover up too many different layers. This layer really helps it pop. Just barely hitting the edges of the fingers, the cheekbones, a little bit of the lips. I go in with some white, hit just a little bit of highlight on the arm wrap and the horn. Make sure just to barely highlight the teeth and hold your breath and paint the eyeball. I take some fluoro orange and add just a little dot of orange for an eye color pop. And like I said earlier about the skin melting, I didn't like how it turned out, so we just turned the melty part into lava. Just adding some reds and yellows, and that's how we look so far. Take a look how he is on the base, and then we glue him down. Now, in order to blend him in a little bit more into the base, I add some more of that molten crackle. And we paint our flames, and we start to glue in the flames, or the lava splash, whatever you think it might be. Glue them in. Just kind of cut and fit them randomly. And this is how he looks so far. Pretty good. Crackle paint did its job and crackled. The chrome highlight looks pretty good. Skin pop, not bad. I'm still new at painting miniatures, but I'm going to work my best and try to improve. Here we just did some touch-ups on the flames. And we are pretty much done with this model. I'm still new at painting miniatures. YouTube's new to me. Buddies pressured me to at least put stuff up. So I'm going to do my best and do some content for you guys, and maybe you'll get some ideas. And enjoy your guys' day.